Welcome to Made for Mondays, the source for digging a little deeper into the Believers Church Sunday messages and finding ways to apply them to our daily lives. Together, let's take a deeper look and find a way to bring Mondays back to life.
Hey everybody, welcome to the pod. My name is Heather, and who are you fellas?
Howdy, Heather. It's me, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Hello again. Happy Victory Monday, everyone.
Hello again. This is the first time I'm seeing you.
Oh, I know, but it's take two.
Joey.
You're not supposed to
That's
tell.
not nice. No.
It's okay. It's okay, Lee.
You're a jerk.
We only got
You
like
know
10
why you're a
seconds.
jerk? Because
Why?
you're a Cowboys fan.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah. I like that. I like how we're starting.
Oh, yeah.
Salty.
Well, that wasn't kind.
How much of our
It was not
listeners
kind.
did you just insult there?
Probably not many.
Probably not.
Yeah, I told Joe's coming in gloating because Cowboys won, and I'm a Giants fan. And he's like, he wants to get some kind of reaction out of me, but I'm like so not invested in the Giants.
I know. Yeah.
Because they haven't been worth cheering for. I mean, I'm still a fan, but I haven't had anything to cheer for in years and years.
Right.
And so yesterday I spent the day with my grandkids instead of watching football, which was
And that was way better.
much better. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, Joey,
Yes,
you're very proud of your Cowboys.
I guess. I mean, it was a fun game to watch, but
Went into overtime.
it did.
Yeah.
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 It was a very exciting game to watch. But yeah, my wife told me, "Oh, that's okay. You can go in there and say something to Jamie. He's a Giants fan." I was like,
Yeah.
He is the most casual fan you have ever seen,
Right.
and he's
True.
not going to care about this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I was watching the Yankees. They're playing Red Sox yesterday, and I watched for, 10, 15 minutes, and they're very rarely on TV, so I don't get to watch them very often. But they're down like 6-2, and I'm like, I'll move on. I did see Judge hit a home run, made it 6-3, so that was nice, but I'm pretty sure they lost. It was like seventh inning or something. So,
Our game was terrible. It was,
Oh, did you stay up late for it?
yeah.
was it a
thing.
late game?
Yeah. We played at 8:20.
That's the worst. I mean, staying up late and then having them
Oh,
lose?
yeah. It was a field goal fest, and the Falcons, that's how they won, all field goals. There were no touchdowns in the
fun.
game.
Sounds like a soccer
Actually,
game.
there was one touchdown at the end of the
At the
game.
very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Which
take that back, but it was
watching the Vikings all last Monday, I would have stayed up too last night because y'all did so well in
Right.
the second half last week.
Well,
I thought you'd turn
that's
it
our
around.
MO.
Yeah.
But not last night. It was awful.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, how was the rest of your weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Saturday was just primarily yard work, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Sunday hanging out with the grandkids was super good, and then Thursday went down to Frank and Patty's in Virginia Beach.
Yes.
Smash burgers. It was really nice with Sarah and Tyler, and we got to meet Tyler's mom. We went over to the Cavalier, and it was a great night to be there. It was ladies' night Thursday, so. So I was able to hang out with Bonnie, my lady, and I can't say who I saw, but someone working the ladies' night angle while I was there. You'll laugh about this later. But yeah, it was lovely.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, that sounds like fun, though.
Yeah, it was a great weekend.
That sounds like fun.
So Frank and Patty's is like voted the best burger at
really?
the beach.
Really?
Yeah, so their menu is like
Very simple.
very simple. They have like 5-6 burgers, maybe. They do have gluten-free options for Bonnie, so that was nice.
Yeah.
And, pretty simple, very similar, slight changes on each one. And then the back half, their cocktail list is as long as their burger list. And I think they have a hot dog.
They used to be at the Vale in Norfolk.
Okay, is that right?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So then that's how that
Yeah, it
happened.
was great though. We had a good time. Cool vibe there. They have a nice outdoor space.
It's very simple menu,
Yep.
which makes a menu wonderful. All
does.
restaurateurs
Yep. Yeah, it was super
keep
fun.
your menu simple.
So I'm getting ready to take dinner to a mutual friend for a meal train that we have going, and ordering from Rajput and talk about the opposite of a simple menu.
not
Their
simple.
menu is like a phone book long. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I mean, their food's good, but
That's great.
I don't know how they pull that off because,
Now I'm feeling Rajput.
there you go.
Yeah, we had a great weekend. Very busy. Friday.
Sidebar, I love when Joey's feeling Rajput because he would not go.
Oh yeah,
when we
I threw a fit.
Yeah, when we first were like, ooh, we should go to Rajput. And Joey was like, I'm not going there.
For a
We were like, what?
for a team lunch. I
Yeah.
almost went and brought tropical smoothie over to Rajput because I was like, I'm just not going to do Indian food. And
Now it's
yeah.
like his
It's my
favorite thing to go get.
I love it. I
What
love
a
it so much.
knucklehead.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you.
But yeah, our weekend, Saturday, my little girl had her 3-year-old birthday party. She turned 3 last week. So that party, we had a game in the morning. Our Mets, I'm coaching the Mets. We are up on the coach pitch field officially now. So it's a whole new game up
Is
there.
it?
It's a whole new game. We got beat pretty bad. We got beat pretty bad.
So, well, I mean, the Mets are not the same as the Bronx Bombers.
No.
So-
no. I tried to get the Yankees.
Yeah.
And they're like, we only have the A's and the Mets left. And was
I
like,
would
eh.
go with the Mets. Too.
Do you still have our girl?
No. So
Oh,
I
that's the
saw-
problem. This is the
That
problem.
is the problem. So Mallory, we have a draft, right?
You don't have
I'm
Mallory.
I'm like in coach pitch. They're like, "Hey, meet us up here this day for the draft." I'm like, "A draft for 7-year-olds? What do we do here?" And so I have like the last pick in the first round or something. And before it could even get to me, 4th overall, my girl Mallory went. So I'm like, not only is she that good, she's got a reputation now too.
Yeah.
Right.
So I did not even have a chance to get her.
Wow.
And I told her
Yeah.
dad that Saturday. So, man, I wanted her, but yeah. Yep. So we got beat 13-2. So we
Oh,
got some
boy.
work to do. but
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
You can practice tomorrow in the rain.
That's right. Tomorrow
So
in the rain.
Nora's party was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was the end of a very, very busy week. So
Yeah.
after that, we kind of got to breathe and we picked my wife. She's going to be mad for me saying it was all on her, but she picked a movie for our date night after that because the kids went with the grandparents, and I can't even endorse this movie. It was like suspense. We don't go to the movies, just us. So it's not a kid's movie. So what's out? And we look and we pick one that looked suspenseful. In her defense, the trailer just looked, and it was
Awful.
crazy.
Oh.
It was so scary. It was terrifying.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
so I'm not going to recommend it. But we had a little date night. And
Oh.
then, yeah.
Nora, like the most princessy princess girl ever.
Yeah.
So the other day, Joey picked her up from school to take her home after her birthday party here at school. And so she came in and was talking to me for a little bit. And I was asking her about her birthday and like what she was going to be doing. And I was asking her about her presents. And I was like, oh, what are you going to get? And she was like, not really like engaging with me. She only engages when she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
She's very particular. And so I was like trying to just like, I was like, teasing her a little bit, and I was like, what do you think you're gonna get? Do you think you're gonna get like a football? And she went, I'm a girl.
I'm a girl. Those are boy toys.
She said, that's a boy toy.
That's funny.
And I was like she posts videos and stuff of her playing with football with Easton and everything. And I was like, what? You throw football with your brother and like all this stuff. It was hilarious.
Yes.
She was real mad that I was
She
even
was.
suggesting she would get football for her birthday.
She is
So
a
then
girly
her
girl.
like pictures are all in this like unicorn dress and just sparkle like glitter explosion
Yeah.
everywhere. It was so cute.
She's
Yeah.
my little girl.
So sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah. What about you? You have a good weekend?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it was fine. Nate is out in Minnesota right now. His dad, they had a memorial service for his dad out there. That's where Nate is from originally. So he ended up making a last minute decision to go out there for that, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I was gone all
Yeah.
this week. So Nate and I like passed very quickly and was like, oh, Heather's home. Nate's getting on that plane to go
Yeah.
out there. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I was just kind of getting things situated at home from being gone for the week and got some work done. And I've mentioned it on here before, my girls and sister-in-law They come over once a month on Saturday mornings. So I did that and then hung out with a friend for a little bit on Saturday. And one of my nephews has a birthday this week. Actually, 4 of my family members have birthdays this week.
Wow.
And 3 of them on the same day.
Oh, wow.
My sister-in-law, a niece, and a nephew all on the same day.
Wow. September.
Yeah.
Big month.
Yeah. So anyway, one of my nephews had his family birthday party on Saturday evening. So I hung out over there for a little bit. So yeah, just kind of chill.
Okay.
Yeah, which
Awesome.
is fine.
That
I
is-
can use some chill right now.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Wherever I can squeeze it in, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So we are continuing our Bible reading challenge. We were kind of all over the place this week. We were in Psalm. We covered chapters 97 through 102 this week. We are in Proverbs 21, and we started 1 Corinthians. We made it through the first 5 chapters. So we covered a lot of ground in our Bible reading challenge. If you have not joined us, it's not too late, even though we're in September already.
Just pick up where we are.
Yeah, you can find that on our app. So go ahead and jump right in. Did anything stand out to you guys in the reading this week?
Yeah. So for me, it was 1 Corinthians chapter 4 in the first part of that. Primarily it's just kind of, there's a lot going on at the moment. And so these verses just kind of really stood out to me. So Paul was talking about how the church in Corinth was kind of clamoring over celebrity pastor type stuff.
Yeah.
It was, some were saying, we're of Paul, some were saying we're of Apollos. And he's trying to make the case that that's a silly place to be.
So celebrity pastors aren't new?
Yeah, that's not new.
Oh.
Personality-driven churches are not new.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he says in chapter 4, verse 1, look at Apollos and me as mere servants of Christ who've been put in charge of explaining God's mysteries. Now, a person who's put in charge as a manager must be faithful. And as for me, it matters very little how I might be evaluated by you or by any human authority. I don't even trust my own judgment on this point. Like, I can't even evaluate myself, let alone pay attention to your estimation of me. My conscience is clear, but that doesn't prove I'm right. It's the Lord himself who will examine me and decide. And so, those verses just... Boy, I've been rereading those verses every day since that showed up on the reading plan, just to kind of get in my own headspace. So for one, that Paul is at this place where people's opinions of him do not drive him, and I would love to be in the freedom of that space. I'm just not. And I spent some time talking to my therapist about it on Friday. But that's a hard place for me to get to. And that's where Paul clearly is. I'm not going to let your evaluation of how, I've been appointed to explain the mysteries of the gospel. That's my job. And I'm not in charge of it. I'm just stewarding what the Lord has put in my hands. And so your estimation of what I'm doing doesn't really matter that much. My estimation of what I'm doing doesn't matter that much either. I'm just trying to be faithful to what God is calling me to do and let all the opinions fall where they fall.
Yeah.
And it's such a freeing place. And just
one when you can get there.
If and when I can get there. But I'm almost envious of Paul's, ability to be in that space. But it comes from, I think, just this confidence that God had placed him where he was.
Yeah.
And
so it's an attunement with the Spirit.
I think so, yeah. And so for me, that's just kind of been, I've been meditating on that and trying to assure myself of the same thing. Not that I'm the Apostle Paul, because I'm clearly not, but yeah, like the only opinion of me that really does carry weight is not my own, and it's not somebody else's. It's God who's ultimately going to evaluate where I'm at. So super helpful.
That's so good, Jamie. That's so good. Yeah, this might be a nice prequel to even what you were saying, because I found in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, anything like Paul showing us here how God is flipping like human expectations. And so in verse 27 through 29, I want to read and listeners think through the lens of what Jamey just shared too. This is really good. God chose things the world considers foolish in order to shame those who think they are wise. And then he chose things that are powerless to shame those who are powerful. God chose things despised by the world, things counted as nothing at all, and used them to bring nothing what the world considers important. As a result, no one can ever boast in the presence of God. So I love that any chance we get to see that expectation get flipped upside down.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, like just as you were sharing, like there's just the whole idea that there's nothing new under the sun. Like there's, the things that, like we did a study on 1 Corinthians, we've gone through 1 Corinthians as a church a few years back now, Messy Church.
2019.
And we were in the throes of some messiness back then ourselves, and we still are. But it's like, what I loved just looking at it again, just at the beginning of 1 Corinthians, you just see Paul start off with this like just real positive, encouragement to the church. And then he's like, now let's get into the mess. Right. And then when we get to the end, you're going to see him like just give him some encouragement again. And it struck me like that's like this sandwich technique. It's what a lot of corporations, and if you're into any sort of like strategy
stuff,
for
right.
effective feedback, it's called like positive, negative, positive, and it's like been touted as like, oh, this is the sandwich technique that you would use, and it's like this isn't new. This is like something that the Apostle Paul was doing. Like read any of his letters, and you'll actually see that pattern happening.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That was just kind of a fun thing to see this morning, and as we look through Scripture, like it's just really neat that you will, and you address that even some this week, Jamey, as in your message that we'll get into now. Just these things, these principles. Even before you got into your message, you were just welcoming people that aren't even of faith yet. Yeah. To just like join us in this conversation and just have this opportunity to just try out the principles of Jesus. You don't even have to say you're going to be following him yet. Just like try it.
Yeah.
Because his principles do make life better.
They work.
And we see that even as when you compare these kinds of things that are like, oh, these are things that just our modern day culture are putting in, like those are actually biblical principles that are being used.
Yep.
so fun. Okay, so we're in, is this week 3 now?
2.
2?
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks into.
Yep.
The open invitation. And Jamey, you just opened up talking about a couple of the invitations that you've had. One of them being the invitation to jury duty.
Yeah, we'll call it a summons. Yeah.
So have you been invited to jury duty, Joey?
I have not. I always.
Oh, you haven't?
Is it weird to want to though?
No,
I don't want to.
No, I mean some people
it's intriguing.
Some people like the opportunity.
But I also feel like that intrigue would quickly go by. I'd be like, I'm done with this.
It does quickly pass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you've been on jury duty?
I just was.
That's right.
I actually was with Amanda Burbage, one of our elders.
Yeah.
Dr. B.
Yeah. Did you get seated? I can't remember.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I did have to Amanda and I spent a full day just waiting.
Yeah.
But we chat.
But what a good civic servant you are doing that. Because that is, it's part of our civic duty.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Did she get selected?
No.
She would be a great juror.
No,
she would be a great juror.
I don't think either of us could.
She'd be the chairman of the
Oh my gosh.
Jury.
Can you imagine?
She'd whip them all into shape.
I for sure would want. We probably wouldn't be allowed. Do we think we'd be allowed if she and I knew each other?
Probably not. I would think that one of you would not be allowed.
One of us would have to be. Would have to leave.
That'd be my guess. Yeah, she'd be amazing at it.
She would be amazing. And she wouldn't be able to help herself. Like she would go into it like I'm going to be quiet so that they wouldn't.
And then she'd
pick
be in charge.
But she would not be able to help herself.
Yeah. Yep.
I know she's listening to this. Dr. B, we know you would be
a great
Foreman.
Foreman, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So Jamey, you also shared a little bit about how your faith journey began through an invitation, and you were talking about how you needed everybody to know in 10th grade
Oh, yeah.
that you
Right.
had made this decision.
I was going to
That
be a
you-
radically different person
Yes.
when I came back to school. And
So,
I
of
needed to give them a
course,
heads up
then-
because I was afraid that they would just be so shocked by
Right.
what they encountered
I mean,
in September
a
that
completely
they wouldn't be able to
different
handle it.
Jamie Stewart was walking into the school building.
Right.
And it was going to wreck their worlds if they weren't
Yep.
given a heads up. So
That's right.
you went through your yearbook.
I did.
You called all of your classmates.
I did.
You told them, I need you to know
Yes.
I'm different.
Yes. It seemed like the right thing to
This
do.
is gonna. I don't
such
want
a
you to
bold
be.
step,
I don't want
to
you to
be
be
new to
shocked,
faith. I love
especially
it,
for as
but-
introverted
Yeah.
as you
Yeah,
are.
I think I was less introverted than.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe this. Maybe
Maybe
this.
this is what led to.
Ooh,
Yeah, that
we're
was
getting
not a
to
good.
the root
that
cause
was not
of
a good
things right
call.
now.
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, should we let Joel know?
Yeah, I'll tell him
Okay.
next time I talk to him.
All right.
I've had a breakthrough.
We've had a breakthrough on the podcast. We know why Jamie is introverted.
Yeah.
This went badly. Tell us what happened. Because you told us
well-
from stage yesterday that you would reveal
Yeah.
the outcome.
So it didn't initially it didn't go all those conversations that I had. They didn't go poorly.
okay.
So people were like, oh, okay, whatever.
Congrats.
Just lackluster. It was
Yeah,
just
they weren't.
like, okay.
Yeah, there was no one super shocked. And then I get back to school, and the truth is, my brother John came to faith at the same time as me, and he came back to school. I don't believe he did call any of his friends, but he came back to school and was so radically different that I literally heard people in the halls saying, "What's up with John Stewart?"
Oh, wow.
He's carrying his Bible. He's he just is a different person. And so,
What grades were y'all in?
he's 2 years older than me, so he was probably a senior. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, for me, I came back and did a great job of being a standout Christian for, I don't know, about a month. And then I didn't have any Christian friends. I literally, outside of my brother, didn't know if there was another Christian in my school.
John did.
John.
Did John have Christian
Oh, no.
friends?
Well, no, he did not. But he moved in with a Christian family. So John moved out of the house when he was 17. It was me and him were living with my dad at the time. And he moved out and moved in with a family that was committed followers of Jesus. And it really took his life in a different direction, but gave him a rooting that was really strong pretty early. I didn't know another Christian until I met Gary Cataranek a little bit later that school year. But yeah, I kind of blew my whole I'm a Jesus follower testimony by Christmas. And that next year I was back in thick
you wanna
as
tell us what you were doing?
thieves.
Do you want to tell us what you were doing?
No,
Okay.
not necessarily.
I mean, you were very in a therapeutic mode, so I didn't know
Yeah,
if you wanted
yeah.
to I was
No,
just giving
but
space.
I will say, because of my very bold declaration going into it, I had the following, I think it was the following school year, maybe it was later that school year. One of my best friends at the time, who was not a follower of Jesus, told me that I was very hypocritical and he broke our friendship. And I never really, and I'd been fast friends with him from 6th grade till that point.
Wow.
And yeah, we never really did have a friendship after that. And he distanced himself because I was vocally calling myself a Christian, but not acting like one, which was kind of interesting for a non-Christian person to sit in that kind of seat. But yeah. But God used that even. That was kind of my wake-up call to get serious about my faith. And I started having this understanding that everything I do, and this is kind of leads into really what we're talking about in in this message for this week. But everything I do is either going to draw someone closer to Jesus or repel them further from Jesus. And that was really that moment with him that made me have that realization that like me doing my own thing is no longer just about me. It's having an impact on people around me.
Sure.
And it took that to make me realize that.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part about that story is you telling us like no texting, nothing like that,
Yeah.
which I am old enough to remember life before texting and smartphones and everything. So
I mean, it was probably a rotary phone, truthfully.
And like they don't, you're not calling their personal line. So like
I'm calling their house.
You had to ask for, hey, is Johnny there?
That means every time you started to misdial someone, you had to start all over again.
Hang up, pick it up. Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Remember those days?
You had to like push the button down and then you'd be like,
What, count to 5, because if you pick it up
Yes.
too early, it's
Still
not hung up
linked.
yet, right? Yeah, those were the days.
terrible. Kids these days don't even know.
Yeah, I got it so good and so bad at the same time.
Right. It's true. All right. So why do you think, I mean, we talked about this a little bit last week on the pod, but I mean, it's just as we build, I think we're learning a little bit more about it. So why do you think it is that we overcomplicate the invitation?
I think for some of us, it's because that's what's been modeled for us. So I think, the church, and it's not a bad emphasis, like equipping someone on how to share their faith effectively is a good thing to do. We've done it at Believers. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yeah.
So like it's not a bad thing, but like the presentation of how to share your faith effectively is very different than just being an inviter. And so I think people, when they hear inviting, in their mind they're thinking, well, I got to ask, the evangelism explosion questions,
Right.
like if you were to die today, how certain are you that you would be in heaven? And why should God let you in his heaven? And all these things, which are generally speaking confrontational in nature. And they do require like familiarization with a script of some kind, all that kind of stuff. And so I think for most people, when they hear inviting, and even though we're saying inviting, they're thinking, this is an evangelism moment, and this is a little bit different than that. And personal evangelism stuff is important and it's good. And as you grow and mature in your faith, to get to that place where you can do those kinds of things, I think is really worthwhile. But this is just about inviting,
Right.
which is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Little lower risk.
So over the past 2 weeks, I mean, we've been looking at this relationship and conversation between Philip and Nathanael.
Yep.
And that invitation.
Yeah.
So, Jamey, can you give us just the Jamie Stewart notes version of that interaction?
Yeah. Yep. So Philip is friends with Andrew and Peter, who are already following Jesus. Then Philip started following Jesus, and they're getting ready to leave town to go somewhere else where Jesus continues to build his group of 12. Andrew invites Philip to come and encounter Jesus, and then Philip is like, man, we need to tell Nathanael about this. So they go to Nathanael, and he invites him to, he doesn't really invite him. He tells him, we've met the Messiah, which for a Jewish person, like this would have been like the thing. And he's like, this is the person Moses was talking about, the prophets wrote about. This is what we've been hearing about since we were little kids. We met him. His name is Jesus. He's the son of Joseph. He's from Nazareth. And for whatever reason, Nathanael doesn't get hung up on, oh, it's the Messiah. That's not the part that trips him up. The trip up comes when he hears that he's from Nazareth. And he's like, there's no way the Messiah came from Nazareth. And Philip is just so convinced that Jesus is the guy that he doesn't spend any time debating him on why he is the Messiah and he is from Nazareth. And he could have gone down a path of debate or, pulling out Old Testament scriptures or whatever, but he doesn't. He just says, come and see for yourself. And Nathanael does and has an encounter with Jesus that is quite remarkable. We talked about that the first week.
Yeah.
And he ends up being one of the 12,
Yeah.
changing the world.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of that is I've really been thinking about how he could have handled that conversation. Like we talked about, like he didn't debate or anything like that, but really think about that, like what he could have, how he could have responded, and put that in the lens of like us inviting.
Yeah.
And just the initial response, maybe that we're even worried about, that is an obstacle for us when we are inviting. Oh, what if they say this? And then like sometimes, yeah, that's reality.
Right.
They will say that. They will ask you a question and stuff like that. So what a good lesson for us. And I'm like, man, we could have easily, especially if like Nazareth was a special place in his heart, or he's over here already interacting with the Messiah, and like, so that right there makes me want to get defensive. That's when I do get defensive. And so to learn this as we're even going out as a staff and everything, and encouraging ourselves to invite more. Like I have to remember that, like that not everybody thinks the way that I or we think, and it can be a simple response, like a come and see, rather than getting defensive if they talk poorly about us or our church or something. So.
Yeah, so true. And Jamey, you addressed this so well yesterday, even from the beginning of service. But there's these obstacles that we just think about, before we even head out to invite, right? And some of that is just around our reputation, around just the resistance that we feel right now culturally. Against Christians. So there's certainly elevated emotions and opinions about Christians and in political circles, and especially like this week even around the assassination of Charlie Kirk and just all that's going on there. So what do you think people assume about the church today? Why is that happening? How can we overcome the reputation gap without being defensive, like you were just talking about? Just what are your thoughts on what's happening right now and how we can show up in that space better?
Yeah, I mean, this past week, as charged as it was and as heavy as it was, like full disclosure, like I knew Derek was familiar with Charlie Kirk. I was not super familiar with him. I remember years ago, Derek telling me about a guy who would wear a shirt on a college campus that said, "Change my mind," or whatever it was. And so I was familiar with him from that aspect, but really not all that. I was more familiar with Turning Point USA than I was with him. I didn't realize he was the one behind that. But really, like this past week was very reminiscent to me of all of the stuff from 2020 that kind of, exploded on the scene for a year and a half, starting in the pandemic. With all the race riots and all the things that happened, and all the people who were so spun up and justifiably angry about this, that, or the other. But it really it kind of took me right back there. Like my phone was blown up from a variety of different sources. I mentioned yesterday, I literally cannot remember the last time I spent more than 60 seconds on social media. It's not a place I want to spend time. I go on there and share believers content, and that's about all I do. So I didn't see a lot of the stuff that was hitting social media, but I did stumble onto one that was just a super bad post. Had a picture of Charlie Kirk with Jesus and a couple others, and said something about why they died, and I was just like, and it was someone that I know loves Jesus very much, and I called him out on the share, the post that he had, and he said, yeah, it was just a quick share. I was waiting for someone to offer a rebuttal kind of thing, and I guess part of me is just like Christians should stop doing quick shares.
Yeah.
I got an email from a church member today, and I didn't even know that they confessed as they sent the email, because their confession was, I'm sorry, I was thinking poorly of you, that you should have jumped into the fray, basically, and offered your thoughts and words and whatever while everything's unfolding in real time. And that's not who I am. And I'm certainly not going to do it on social media. I'm not a social media pastor. So if you're looking for that, you can look elsewhere, because that's not who I am. The best place for me to respond to those kinds of things is on Sunday morning when our church family is gathered. And I started knowing Friday that I was going to share something on Sunday. And I spent some time praying through it on Friday and then again on Saturday. And then I reached out to our worship director and let her know that I was going to be starting the service with something, because I felt like I needed to.
Yeah.
And in this email that I received from this person, they thanked me for the words on Sunday and apologized for prejudging me and thanked me for steady leadership, which I was grateful for that. But yeah, like one of the things that we can do to be helpful is for everyone else to kind of follow that example. Don't be so quick to jump on and share every thought that comes to your mind, or repost everyone else's first thoughts that come to their mind. It is not very helpful. And the indictment of, silence is consent and all the things that people want to say, that is not biblical. The Bible says, be slow to speak,
I was just pulling that up.
quick to listen. So, someone who's saying that you should, if you're not piping up, that you are somehow, lack conviction.
Yeah.
So not true. It actually might be a sign of biblical wisdom.
Yeah.
And so, I just think one of the things that we can do to slow down the poor reputation of the church is stop posting stuff that like this person who knew that this post was not a good post and left it up and just said, yeah, it was a quick share, waiting for a rebuttal. Yeah, well, how about not doing that? How about not doing the quick shares? And how about being a little bit more thoughtful in our response? How about waiting 2, 3, 4 days before you actually say something? And maybe you don't need to say anything. Like maybe you can just have an opinion in your head,
right,
and it doesn't need to be shared with the world. Like not everything you think needs to be put out there. And so, and not putting it out there doesn't make you weak or woke or any of the other things that people want to say. That's all nonsense. That's not what the Bible says. And so, yeah, if you're feeling called out in this, good. Yeah. So I hope that was my prayer on Sunday. Like the church needs to be called out. And it's not that we can't have conviction, and it's not that we shouldn't have compassion, but we do not need to be an arm of a political party. And that is the reputation that the church has. And if we are an arm of a political party, then we are no different than a political party. That's the problem.
Right.
When the church gets married to politics, then those who don't agree with us politically can discount what Jesus has to say. And you know this. Jesus is apolitical. You know this. He's the king of a kingdom of another world, not of this world. I wrote a message this past week on 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, and I wrote it before the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But when you hear it on October 5, you will think I wrote it in response to what happened. And I did not. And what I'm harping on right now is part of what Paul was harping on then.
Right.
So, yeah, I just think the reason the church has a bad reputation is because Christians have allowed themselves to become tools of political philosophies, and Christianity is not a political philosophy.
Yeah.
It is not. And if your faith could be boiled down to a plank on a platform, then you need to re-examine what you've got your faith in.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I actually saw Brandon Lake posted a long video, and it was the same thing. He's like, hey, I'm doing this video a little bit. This is 4 days afterward.
Right.
He said, I'm doing this video a little bit sooner than I would have liked, but so many people are asking me why I haven't spoken up.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you, I haven't even been home yet to see my wife. We've talked about this over the phone. Like, I need time to process this.
Right.
And it was just so much of what you were saying.
Yeah.
I think, to sit right now, if you're like wondering what to say, when to say, how to say, like, just spend some time in the book of James.
Yeah.
Just like sit with that, because that can help you kind of know, like, have some discernment on some of this stuff. And like you, Jamie, I didn't really know who he was. And I think that's another thing. Like, there's like pockets, like bubbles of, that we kind of live in. And I was with a bunch of female pastors from our network this last week in Georgia. I just had an opportunity to be with them, and one of them, her phone started blowing up from her team, just saying that this had happened, because we were isolated. We didn't have a good reception or anything. So she got word, and I just didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
So I was like, who is that? And once I like saw him and stuff, I recognized who he was. But like you, it wasn't just common knowledge to me. So then when I kind of started, as they were talking and stuff, and everyone was just kind of like, this is just so bad for the church. This is so bad for, so many, obviously so many reasons.
Sure.
But, I just think that pausing and just, we talked about that so much during our polarizing series, and how we respond to each other, and when we respond, and just our posture.
Yep.
And I think that's.
And I'll say this really quickly too. I have a buddy that I process through a lot with. It really doesn't matter what it is, and we share different views. And like, the thought does cross your mind. Like, I know his thoughts. He knows mine on this. Can we process this together? And how beautiful it was when we did.
Yeah,
we did. We put it all aside, and we're just like, look, just the simple fact of what happened is like traumatic enough.
Sure.
And we need to process this together. And we put any differences aside, and just, that's a brother in Christ right there.
Yeah.
And it's very good for me.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So doing good first. What does it look like to shine in our everyday lives? So even in these kinds of situations, how can we be light? Because that's really what you kind of focused us in on, Jamie, as you took us through the rest of the message.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus said, let your good deeds shine. And so it's those good deeds. And what are the good deeds? Well, I ran through a list of things that, like, if lived out, could really be standout kind of qualities. So, the person who guards someone's reputation rather than gossiping, the person who forgives rather than holding a grudge, the person who serves his neighbors instead of being the annoying neighbor. There's lots of things that we can do, the places that we show up, how we show up. That's that posture piece that you just mentioned, how we show up, showing up with kindness rather than anger, or not, the light that Jesus calls us to. I don't remember if I had to abbreviate a bunch of stuff in my message yesterday, so I don't even remember if I had a chance to say this or not, but like, he doesn't call us to be a laser beam that lops off limbs.
Yeah.
He calls us to be a light that's helpful.
Oh, I love that.
So trying to find ways to show up in spaces, and that picture that Jesus painted of like a light that's a city on a hill that offers safety, and the light shines out for everyone to see. So like being Like if you have the light of Jesus in you, other people around you should benefit from that light. They don't have to have the light themselves in order to benefit from your light. So like view it in those kinds of ways. Like how can I show up in spaces where people benefit from my showing up there? That's the picture that Jesus is painting, that will offer light to everyone. Everyone benefits from the light that is being shined or that is being shown by a follower of Jesus. So think of it in those terms. Like how can you show up in the workspace? How can you show up in your neighborhood? How can you show up in your friends group in a way that they're better because you're there?
Yeah.
I love that because we've really taken that on even as a church family.
For sure.
So years and years ago, we kind of settled into this core value of being a church on the give.
Yep.
That we just saw so many, churches that have a reputation of being on the take
Yep.
In our community. And we just wanted to change that narrative.
Yep.
And so how do we do good deeds how do we do that as a church? And then how does that make our invitation more credible, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we do it in a lot of ways. Some of that is just through our local partners that, we are invested in financially and and in volunteer force, so with CAPS and with Oasis and showing up in our schools, showing up at our schools in ways that people are super grateful for us. Even if they don't believe what we believe, they are grateful that we invested in what they're doing and where they are. So it's those types of things. And then like the beautiful partnership that we've had with the city over this summer, showing up at concert events and that kind of stuff and handing out water and helping with parking and being a reliable partner for the city. Like how great is that? Like, shouldn't the church do that?
Yeah.
Shouldn't localities be able to look at churches and say like, I know that if we have a need in our city, we can reach out to this community of faith and they will show up.
Yeah.
And that's what the city of Suffolk believes about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so great. And it didn't happen overnight. And we've been faithfully showing up in Suffolk since 2018. And here we are, 7 years later, bearing some of the fruit of that. And because we're doing those things, there's a really good chance that people that you are inviting have encountered people from Believers Church, whether it was if they're working in a school where we showed up and loved on their teachers or their kids, or they're showing up. They encountered us at a city event and they got a cold bottle of water when it was a hot summer day. Those things are positive encounters that people have, and so when you extend an invite, it's just easier because the reputation that we have is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you said yesterday about riding the church's coattails.
Yeah.
And that's completely fine. That
It's totally fine.
Doesn't need to be a negative thing. I think about some of the city events when you said that. That was my first thought. It's like I wish we've said this in a series recently. Do for one what you wish you could do for all, and that's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
So signing up for the last two that I was a part of that I went to with the city where we were handing out water bottles and stuff, I was not in the mood, you guys. I'm like, I got to the day of and I'm like, I'm going because I said I would be there. And the way my heart flipped while I was there, just took a day into a good, like it just felt so good. So being in that community, it makes inviting easier. It makes inviting easier when you're not feeling it that day. Like I was like, how am I supposed to go invite people to church? But then being around our people, they're contagious and they're inviting. So it's so good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Jamey used to say a lot when we would do mailers and then we would do invite cards and we'd have events. It's just like air cover.
Yeah.
Like we're just giving you, by the time you're like inviting someone, and this is still true today, but by the time you're inviting someone to something at Believers, they've probably seen or heard about it at least 3 other times in 3 other ways.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really exciting. So we are in the year of the invite. And when you kicked that off, Jamey, you challenged everyone to identify their one.
Yep.
Can you remind us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, we are to be contagious. It's another one of our core values as a church. We should be contagious. Our faith should be able to be passed on to other people. And so just putting some intentionality around it. That's what the year of invitation is about. Before that, it was the year of serving. Before that, it was something else. It's really just to like, what is something that followers of Jesus ought to be doing that we can just put a little extra oomph on during the course of the year. And for this year, it's this idea of come and see for yourself. And that is the theme verse for our church for this entire year. And it's, if we're to be shining our light and we're to be going and making disciples, then we have to be inviters. And so we've been encouraging everyone throughout this year, invest in someone that you love, that you care about, that is not in church. And we're not trying to, swipe people out of other churches. We're trying to get people who are not engaged in church to engage with Jesus. Yeah. And the way that's going to happen is for all of us collectively to be just praying over our ones and investing in them and loving them well, and then leveraging an invite, our influence.
So if you guys are willing, would you tell us a little bit about your ones and how you're investing in them and praying to invite them?
Yeah. So I shared a little bit about this on another podcast, but I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's a neighbor of mine that has, she's a single mom, and she's got her hands full. And so every chance I get, I try to strike up a conversation with her and be a good kind of neighbor for her. So she's my one locally. And then I've got a couple family members that aren't as local, but I'm also praying for those ones,
Yeah, mine, y'all are going to have to help me here. What are you, the lady that cuts my hair? A hair style?
I mean, she's a barber. Yeah.
Okay. All right, my barber. All right. For whatever reason, it didn't sound right. And I'll just show y'all for those watching, like, this is what I need to get over there to her. So, the investment piece of it, that's why I'm wearing a hat today.
What a mess.
I know. So I got to get over there. And but I love this story. So she is my one. I've been praying for her, and nothing about what I'm about to share has been or is inauthentic. This is all stemmed from just a relationship that we have built. And when we go in there, I usually go with Doug or with somebody else, and it's just a whole fun, like a party when we get our haircuts. And so I know she loves like the nerdy sci-fi type movies, and that's not really my thing, but I love my church. She knows this. And so that's our deal right now. I said, okay, if you show up on a Sunday, then you get 3 movies that I will not push back on at all, that I will watch. So she has picked the Lord of the Rings, which I was like, oh my gosh, that is like 20 hours of footage. Okay, no big deal. So that's the deal out there right now. So if I see my one at church, I got a lot of movie watching to do with some movies that are not really up my alley.
You can multitask.
Right. Yeah, for sure. They're slow enough. You can do all sorts of things while you watch those movies.
It's fine.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Well, it's been fun to see people sharing their invitation stories on social media while sharing the Believers posts. So I've been noticing that lately because I, like you, Jamey, that's pretty much all I'm on social media to do is to share that. So as they've been sharing like our Sunday posts, they'll say something about like, well, I was invited by this. And so I would love to have you come experience the same thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
So have you guys, as we've been in the second week now, I know this Sunday we shared a really cool story from last week's pod about inviting, but any new invite stories or anything that you've heard this last couple weeks?
I had a great conversation this past Sunday in the Commons, and a guy came up to me. This was his 8th week, I think he said, at Believers.
Was this Doug?
Yeah, it was Doug.
I think it's 10th.
Oh, it was 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. So he came up to me and he said, I'm really passionate about this invite stuff. Like, I'm really loving that you're talking about that. And I said, oh, good.
good.
He said, the reason I am is because I was invited by her. And he points over to his wife. And he said, but I started coming and I'm starting to understand and learn, and you're really helping me.
Yeah.
And
He said,
so-
I'm really new to this.
Yeah, so it was just so cool. Like here's a real live person who, even before the
And he's
series
excited.
began, he knew that like the invite that he received, he's thankful for it. You know, he's
Yep.
excited about what he's learning about Jesus and how it's impacting his life already, and he's not turned off by a series
Nope.
about the invite. He's like, man, yeah, this is super
Tell me
important.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
I
It's
love
really
that.
neat.
Heather, I might need your help sharing this story. This is not a new one, but it's my favorite one.
Okay.
The bumper sticker story. So that same story started in a junk drawer, right? Where they
There's
found
a
like
few bumper sticker ones,
Yeah.
but yeah. So one of them, I don't know if that was a bumper sticker one. There was an invitation card one that they got an invitation card when we were doing like an SE project. They
Right.
stuck it in their junk drawer. They pulled it out when life got hard and they needed to go to a church.
Yep.
And yeah, wound up at Believers
that.
and got plugged in. And
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
thing with the invites, you know, like those and taking the cards on Sunday, because we have invite cards every Sunday
Yeah.
scattered throughout the commons. Take them and give them out. Give them to your servers in restaurants and wherever.
with a generous tip.
Yeah, with a generous tip, wherever you can do that, because they're just like seeds of the gospel is really what they are. You scatter them out there, and in time, when life goes sideways, and they're going to start looking. Well, the place they're going to look is here,
Yep.
because they've already received invites. And even if they don't act on it right away, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you were faithful,
Planted a
is what it
seed, yeah.
means.
Yeah.
And you just never know how God's going to use that.
Yeah.
because the rejection piece can be a barrier too.
No, for
And
sure.
It's not even really rejection.
No, it's
You
not.
Yeah.
don't know how God's going to work
Right.
in it.
Yeah.
Jamie and I, years and years ago, we went up to Journey Church in New York City. And we would just stand on street corners, in front of the train station, in front of bus stops, and just hand out thousands and thousands of granola bars and invite cards stuck to them.
Yep.
And like lots of them, I mean, we would like literally see them just like go onto the ground. Like you just saw it happen like right in front of you. And so that can be like super discouraging because you're like, we're just like super wasting our time here. But at the same time, like not all of them did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, some of them would end up at Journey Church eventually.
Yep.
And so that's kind of the idea. Like the more that go out from here, the more will come back
Yep.
at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the law of return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
I
It's
love
just,
that
it's
story.
like sales, like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of no's before there's a yes, but there will be yeses.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just keep on doing it. And because we're doing a lot of other things in tandem, like people might not, they're going to tuck it away in a junk drawer or they're going to shove it in their car or whatever. But when something goes wrong
Sideways.
or
yeah.
when this thing happens or when whatever, they're going to remember that visual is going to be in their mind.
And they're going to remember the interaction they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
when they got the invite.
Totally.
Yep.
Absolutely. So if you are inviting and you have a great story, we would love to hear it. So you can post that on your socials. It's a great way to just encourage other people to share too. So make sure to tell us about how you are inviting your one. We would love to hear all about that. And we are here for good, and we would love for you to be a part of it. We will be on campus this Sunday, continuing this series, Open Invitation, at 9 and 10:45. And if you can't make it to campus with your guest, then join us at 1 o'clock on YouTube. We will post our service there. Until then, go and be loved. Thanks for being here, friends. We'll see you next week.